Rain battered my bedroom window like handfuls of gravel, throwing twisted shadows across the walls. It was well past midnight, and the four of us, Mara, Elise, Nora, and me, were sitting on the floor, surrounded by blankets and pillows. My parents had left town for the weekend, which meant we had the entire house to ourselves. At 17, an empty house usually meant a party. But that night, we'd chosen something quieter, an old-fashioned sleepover. A violent storm had knocked out the electricity about an hour earlier. All we had for light was a half-melted vanilla candle and the weak glow of our phones. Thunder rolled across the sky while rain hammered against the windows. It was the perfect night for scary stories. "My turn," Mara said. Her voice was unusually low. Elise groaned and pulled her sleeping bag tighter around herself. "Please tell me you're not going to tell another story about some Victorian ghost. I want something that actually scares me." Mara's face was illuminated from below by the candlelight, making her eyes look strangely dark. "Trust me," she said. "This one is different. It's not about ghosts, and it didn't happen hundreds of years ago." She paused. "It happened 17 years ago, right here in our town." Nora leaned forward. "Wait, a local legend? How have we never heard about it?" "Because the town made sure nobody talked about it." Mara reached toward the backpack resting beside my bed and slowly unzipped it. "They wanted everyone to forget. But some things leave marks that never disappear." I'd noticed something strange about Mara all night. She was usually the quietest of us, the kind of person who listened while everyone else talked. But tonight, something was different. There was an intensity in her eyes that made me uncomfortable. "Okay," I said. "Let's hear it." Mara took a slow breath. Thunder shook the windows. "It happened in October of 2009, she began. "The high school homecoming dance was held in the old community hall on Blackwood Avenue. You know the building. We all knew it. The windows had been boarded up for years. The entrance was chained shut, and nobody went near the place after sunset. The theme that night was Midnight Skies," Mara continued. "And the most popular couple in school was Ethan and Rebecca." She stared into the candle. Ethan was the golden boy, star athlete, handsome, popular. Teachers loved him. Rebecca was just as popular, beautiful, smart, and completely devoted to Ethan. Mara paused. "Or at least that's what everyone believed." Nora frowned. "And Ethan's best friend?" Mara nodded. "Daniel." The three of them were inseparable. Rain struck the window. That night, Ethan and Rebecca were named the king and queen of the dance. Everyone cheered as they stood beneath the stage lights. Mara's voice became quieter. But shortly after the ceremony, Rebecca disappeared. "Let me guess," Elise said nervously. "She didn't go to the bathroom." "No." Mara looked directly at her. "She didn't." 20 minutes passed before Ethan began searching for her. He checked the hallways, the cafeteria, the parking lot. Nothing. Finally, he went behind the community hall to an old maintenance building. "It was isolated," Mara explained. "Students sometimes went there to hide from teachers." A loud crack of thunder shook the house. Mara didn't react. Ethan opened the door. She stopped. "And that's when he found them." Nora covered her mouth. "Rebecca was with Daniel." Nobody spoke. Ethan's girlfriend was cheating on him. Mara's voice dropped. "With his best friend." According to the story, Ethan didn't scream. He didn't fight. He simply walked away. Something inside him had broken. He entered the maintenance room and took an old axe. Then he returned to the dance. "The music was still playing," Mara said. "Everyone was dancing. Nobody noticed Ethan at first." She stopped. Then he raised the axe. Elisa's face went pale. The first person he attacked was a student named Lucas. At first, people thought it was some kind of performance. Mara stared into the candle flame. Then they saw the blood. The room went silent. Everyone started running. Ethan blocked one of the exits and attacked anyone who tried to stop him. She swallowed. 9 students died that night. Nora whispered, "Oh my God!" Eventually, Daniel and Rebecca heard the screaming and ran into the hall. Mara's expression changed. Ethan saw Daniel. He charged at him. Daniel tried to defend himself, but Ethan killed him. Mara looked at us. Right in front of Rebecca, the candle flickered. Then Ethan turned toward her. How did she survive? Nora asked. Rebecca ran. Ethan swung the axe. She dodged. The blade struck the wooden floor and became stuck. While Ethan struggled to pull it free, Rebecca grabbed a heavy metal stand from beside the stage. Mara raised her hand. She struck him in the head. Ethan collapsed. The police arrived minutes later, Mara continued. Ethan survived and was eventually transferred to a secure psychiatric hospital. She looked around the room. He's still there. Nobody spoke. The town wanted the whole thing forgotten, Mara said. Records disappeared. Survivors were pressured into silence. The community hall was abandoned. I finally broke the silence. That's horrible. I looked at Mara. But you made all of that up, right? She slowly shook her head. I didn't. Elise gave a nervous laugh. 9 teenagers murdered at a school dance 17 years ago? There's no way nobody would know about that. The town buried it, Mara replied. Then she reached for her backpack. But my family didn't. She pulled something out and placed it on the floor beside the candle. My breath caught. It was an old plastic crown. The silver paint was cracked and peeling. Wrapped around it was a faded blue sash. Dark brown stains covered the fabric. Nora stared at it. What is that? Mara's voice was completely flat. Rebecca's crown. I looked at her. Your mom. A faint smile appeared on Mara's face. Rebecca Hale. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. She changed her name after that night, Mara continued. She thought she could leave the past behind. Elise was visibly shaking. Mara, stop. This isn't funny. You haven't heard the best part. Mara ran one finger across the stained sash. My mother always told me I was a miracle. She said my father died before I was born. She smiled faintly. Technically, she wasn't lying. I felt my stomach tighten. The dance was 17 years ago, Mara whispered. She looked at each of us. We're all 17. Nobody moved. I was born exactly 9 months after that night. My heart began pounding. Ethan wasn't driven insane simply because Rebecca betrayed him. Mara's eyes locked onto mine. He discovered she had been hiding something much bigger. She paused. Rebecca was already pregnant. The room went completely silent. I wasn't Ethan's daughter. Mara touched the stained crown. I'm Daniel's. Nobody said a word. Outside, the storm continued to rage. Mara slowly picked up the crown. And now you know why I brought you here. My voice barely came out. Why? The smile disappeared from her face. Because my mother wasn't the only one who kept a secret. She reached into her backpack again. This time, she pulled out an old photograph. It showed Rebecca and Daniel as teenagers. But someone else was standing behind them. Ethan. He wasn't looking at the camera. He was staring directly at Rebecca's stomach, at the unborn child inside her. I turned the photograph over. Written across the back was a single sentence. He knew before the dance. Mara looked up at us. That's why he killed them. The candle suddenly went out. We froze. Then, from somewhere downstairs, came the unmistakable sound of the front door opening.